Hello, Gunpla fans. Today I'm Speedball Haro, and today I'm going to be starting a new set of videos I'm going to try to do either every week or every other week called Gunpla Classics. Why do I call it that? Pretty much because these specific reviews are going to be about kits that I have or will try to get of kits that are pretty much over the age of, let's just say from 20, from pretty much from the 90s and up. Maybe early 2000s, depending on how old the kit is. And today I decided to go with a kit that was one of my first models and a fan favorite of, well, myself and of Wing fans. And that is, of course, the God of Death, Gundam Deathscythe. Now, for those who do not know, and this is the 144 scale, there has not been any other 144 scale variants of the Deathscythe, except for his hell counterparts in the no grade line. There were no high grades, real grades, any of that. Mostly they have them in master grade, and yet surprisingly enough, though, we don't have an anime Deathscythe variant of it. We have the EW variant of Deathscythe, but we don't have, as you can see right here, his anime color scheme. And before anyone gets confused, I don't mean his Hell variant. I mean his first version, Deathscythe, as you can see. And today I decided, so let's take a look. Now, for those who don't know, for most kits of the 90s and earlier, the no grade line was pretty much the equivalent of a high grade at that time. And that's the truth. Because these actually had decent articulation for that time. And they had a much wider lineup, let's call it that. Because for those who should know and don't know, for Wing fans, the high grade AC line, or After Colony line for Wing, or pretty much high grade Wing line, we don't actually even have half the amount of mobile suits that the series has, compared to the no grade, I mean, or just in general. I mean, we only have for high grades is Wing, Wing Zero, Sandrock, Mogwanak, and the Leo, compared to all the suits that, for those who do know, are in there. And that's a bit sad, because you would think for being that Wing is a popular series, we would have gotten more by now. But we only just got the Mogwanak and Sandrock last year. And the Leo before that. I mean, it just feels a little sad for that. Especially being like, for fans of Deathscythe here, there's not too many high grade variants of him. Now, of course, you can go for the master grade variants, which aren't bad. They're not. But for fans that would like the nostalgic of the original variant of Deathscythe, or have every version of Deathscythe, they don't have the original version. They have the EW, Hell EW, but they don't have Classic, the one I'm holding right now. This is the only variant you can get of him in kit form. That and maybe SDs. I believe there may be a couple SDs out there, but I don't think they're like this. And like I said, I'm going to be doing videos every week to every other week for my classics to show off kits that are aged and such. And today we're going to look at our good friend Deathscythe. So today, let's take a look. Now, as you can see, for him, you didn't really get any extra parts with this kit. You got a beam effect. Now, for those who might wonder, were these beam effects originally in this color? No, these were actually white, pretty much. You had to paint. That's the one thing about no grades. They were requiring of paint work. They definitely needed that. But if done well, they looked pretty good afterwards. I mean, you could just go with the sticker sheet, but in my opinion, I don't do stickers. They just don't work for me, and I'm pretty sure for most people. So, let's see. Now, what was cool about the earlier lines of Gundam series kits, or the no grade lines, is that they actually had almost a complete series of kits, like almost every suit that appeared in the series. And then the same went with Wing here. Now, let's see. Because as you can see, here's how his articulation goes, which is surprising, being how you can bend his arm all the way down. And what was also interesting, these kits, surprising enough, compared to how high grades cost nowadays, this guy would have cost only like $5 to $10 back then. And surprisingly, even though no grades aren't perfect, they actually had decent articulation to the point. You know, they had full leg, bend, even out. And of course, a lot of them had the butt flap problem. They did have foot articulation. Not perfect, but definitely not bad. They did, and for no grades, the one interesting thing these guys had, instead of plastic hands like most gun high grades and masters and all of them have, no grades actually had rubber hands. If you can see that, I'm trying to hopefully get that for you guys in there. There we go. Yeah, these are rubber actually. These are like these are just like the polycap parts. These were actually on the polycap runner, to be precise. Now these guys did have full movement, so they could pose pretty well actually, surprising enough. Some of them may have been restricted on their head, maybe, but not, not terribly. And of course, as you can see, they also had their cooler accessories. They pretty much mimic good poses that you could do from the shows. And as I said, these guys had a decent amount of accessories for these kits. For instance, this actually had a fold-up Deathscythe blade when he wasn't using it, which could be stored right here in the back. And as you see right here, obviously, comes with his complete Deathscythe blade, and it even comes with his detachable weapon on his arm. What was cool, that was completely detachable. You could even put it on either side of his arms. See? Put it on this or that. And fully opened up. And all you had to do is simply insert your beam. And voila. Now this was the only way for beam effects before they started doing clear ones. But it still worked. If you painted it right and such, you had a cool looking beam effect. And like I said, these guys were fully articulated. They weren't perfect, but they definitely weren't terrible. I mean, if you compare them to like they're called first grade or advanced grade kits. They were from Seed and Age, and I believe Double O had a type of first grade. Those were a lot worse. Trust me, they don't have any articulation. They're bricks. There were reasons why they were sold and such like that. But for the wings and anything, like I said, above from the 90s and above, this was pretty much their high grade. And they had a full lineup of kits. They had all the main cast, then they had several enemy suits and such like that. And same with Wing Hero, they had that. Now these guys are actually smaller than you would think for 1/44 scale, actually. And that's the truth. If you compare it to a 1/44 scale now, like, just so happens I happen to have right here our good friend the Leo from the high grade lineup. And as we all know, this guy is a small kid, even for a regular high grade. But look, these two are right next to each other and they're perfectly sized. But if you compare it to like my good friend the RX Haro here, he's much taller. And this is just a Haro and an older high grade kit I put together. And let's see, there's one more to compare it with. The Core Gundam's Earth 3 armor. And as you can see, he's even taller than that. I mean, these guys were small, but then again, for the price they were for, it's understandable why. But these kids definitely had a good lineup, though, like I said. And one reason why I collected so many of these is because I could collect the whole series compared to, sadly, their high grade variants. And like I said, these were fun kits, fully articulated. Not that expensive at the time. Had decent posability and fun accessories. And easy to And heck, you could kit bash these easily if you wanted. Now, sadly, though, like I said, we don't have too many of the 90s and earlier kits yet in complete high-grade lineups. Because, like I said, they've only got out 5 out of the Wing series, and so many in each of the others. So, if you really want a complete lineup, you'll definitely have to look into the no grades. Too bad though, but the sad fact is it's hard. I don't know how to find them as often as you could before. You probably could still find them, definitely. I mean, I know that Bandai's re-released some of those lines, like, instance, the G-Unit series, which was, of course, another Wing series. They've just recently started re-releasing their kits, but then again, it's probably because they just announced the Geminis high-grade kit. However, but no, these were fun kits at the time. They were easy as heck to get. I believe, actually, for people in Japan especially, you can go to your local grocery store and pick these up, I believe it was, from what I've always heard, or something close to that. And like I said, they are wide range of types, wide numbers of them. And heck, and in fact, if people did not know this, the Leo has actually been released once before its high-grade variant. And that's the truth. And I don't mean an SD, Master Grade, or any of that. I mean 1/44 scale. In fact, I actually found and actually have right here. It's not built, but I can show it. To show it off with these guys. The original 1/44 scale Gundam Wing Leo Custom. And this is the original to this. To this Leo right here. This is the Leo's original 1/44 scale variant. And just like the other no-grade variants, this all had PC rubber parts and such. Now, of course, these weren't anywhere as good as his counterpart right next to him. But this was pretty cool to still have, though. I mean, for the lineup for Wing, you only got up to Talgi's, Mercurius, V8, Serpent, which honestly we do need a Master Grade of. I would love to get one. But other than that, no, none of the main Oz soldier units were never really released, except for, like I said, the Leo here that you're seeing, and one other, which I don't know if many people even know about this. And this one surprised me when I first found it. But I'm glad I was able to get my hands on one. And that is Taurus. Yes, I'm talking about the Taurus mobile doll unit. This is the only model kit of the Taurus besides any types of rescind kits. That's the truth. This is the only other variant you can get it in as a kit. And this was official. Bandai. So if you wanted any troopers, any soldiers, these were special releases. These were called limited models. I believe they were special events or special releases you had to find or get to get these. Now, sadly, even though you can see it in the picture, the purple, his original black counterpart to the white Peacecraft color scheme, no, this is the only actual color this kit came in. Now, of course, like I said before with this guy, you do have to do paint work on these to make them look as accurate as you see it in this picture. But the fact that you could actually have these guys in the high grade, no grade lineup is pretty cool, though, since the fact we don't even have this kit yet. Or I don't even know when we'd ever get it. Because sadly, at this point, I can't tell you. I wish I could say it's coming out very soon, but I doubt it. I mean, the fact that we just got the Leo after that many years of having the Wing and Wing Zero high grades out, I'm not going to expect it coming out anytime soon. I mean, I'm glad I got the Leo because, you know, who doesn't like the Leo? But being the fact that I actually have both variants is pretty cool in my opinion. Now, I will do an actual review for this kit here, the one I'm showing you, with the Leo there. And if you are, and if anyone out there that's watching is really interested, I will do a Taurus video if you really want me to. Because there's a few other, there actually is one other kit I have in my collection from the Wing lineup that you could make using parts from the no-grade kits. And a special kit I had to order, but that's for another video. But I wanted to show off these to go with my classic review of our Deathscythe here. So let's get him back in the lineup. Now, for those who were wondering for Deathscythe, how many other variants were there in 144? Pretty much him and Hell, both EW and regular. Now, the Hell version is stated to be a part of the high grade lineup. Honestly, it's not. It's literally just pretty much this and the Hell anime version no grade kit, just with the EW parts to make it, that version. And same for all the other supposed high grades. They were all just no grades, just retooled and such to make the variant. But do I hate them? No. Like I said, these were easy to find, easy to buy, easy to build, and these make fun customizable kits. Like if you just had if you wanted to do something simple, or you're just starting out Gunpla, no grades are definitely not a bad start. I mean, that's how I started, and well, I think I did pretty good for a starting point. And like I said, they're fun to do, fun to touch up every so often. I mean, they have stickers, so once you're more comfortable with paints and such, take out one of your old no grades and, well, like you see, touch them up, paint them up, and you got yourself a decently almost an exact looking copy of the pitch of your mobile suit. I mean, like I said, the back of here wasn't even this color. It literally wasn't. It was a dark purple, like a purplish gray, let's call it that. But, with a little work and such, you can make them look really good. And, so do I recommend this kid? Of course. I mean, it's a Deathscythe. Who doesn't want a Deathscythe? And of course, like I said, if you're new to the Gunpla, give it a try if you can find one. Just be wary though, because a lot of places will try to sell these for more expensive than they're worth, only because they're, in a sense, collectible, which isn't a lie. They're partially collectible now because they're so hard to come by, and the fact that they're high grade, there is no high grade variant to it, or in Deathscythe's case, technically no master grade variant because there's only the EW variants. I mean, heck, we don't even have the anime Hell version in master grade style, except for one that I know of, but I won't mention here because we're just focusing on him. But other than that, Bandai has not released any variant of the anime accurate Deathscythe or Deathscythe Hell, except for the EWs. That's it. They have had the recent Universe figure line of Deathscythe, but they don't have a model line of him. Nothing. Which, to say, stinks to me. I mean, Deathscythe's a really cool kid. Why doesn't he get some attention? But, they have their reasons. I mean, heck, I've been waiting for an Epion for a long time for high grade, because that kid, there's only 2 kits to get it as, and that's no joke. He's either the master grade variant or the no grade variant, because there was technically the 1/100 no grade line of from Wing, because they had their own. They did have a 1/100 line, but they just didn't have. They don't have any other variants of Epion besides that 144 no grade and master grade. That's it. There's maybe a small scatter of SDs, but other than that, no, there's nothing. And I've been waiting to get a high grade variant. I mean, if we can get high grades as good as the Moon Gundam, why don't we have and as good as the real grade Tall Geezes? Where's our Nepion? I mean, I know all the Wing fans would love to have an Epion in their collection that's updated and such. But yeah, we don't have one yet. But it's not a terrible thing, like I said. And like I said, these videos are going to be focusing on the classics. The classic kits that started it all from, of my collection and so on. Because I have kits that are pretty old now. But I'll show them off to you guys, like I said, so you can see them. So, like I said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, anything like that, comments, please leave them in the bottom. Please share and like. And for Gundam Wing fans, let's hope we get a Deathscythe soon, right? Now I know there's a couple master grades out there that are just recently released and such, but let's get a couple regular Deathscythes before any more EW Deathscythes. Am I right? I don't hate them. I don't hate it. I just wouldn't mind an original, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So like I said, I thank you all. Please stay safe, and I thank you for coming. This is Speedball Valharo saying, have a nice day.